I really admire the doers in the world, and I try to emulate them. People that get out and just do stuff, they're a different breed, and I really admire them. Bob Grove is a doer. Bob is the guy that we had on the podcast this week. Tom Austin, who's coming on the podcast next week, that guy's a doer. A hunter extraordinaire. We'll talk with him about getting outside. And my wife, Lindsay, that chick is a goer and a doer, and I love it. And so I try to do more stuff now. And I have to tell you about my favorite thing that I did in October, around Halloween. Halloween's one of my favorite times of the year, probably just like yours. And my mom and dad, Mom grows about an acre of pumpkins every year. And she lets the whole world come out and pick pumpkins, and we can take them all home and decorate the house with them. They're cool too. There's like warty pumpkins and half green and half orange pumpkins, and it's really a very cool thing. And they've built it into this huge party. We call that party Pumpkin Fest. And Pumpkin Fest is really quite a celebration. Dad hooks up the old tractor to a hay wagon. We throw a few bales of straw on the hay wagon, and everybody gets a ride around the block on the hay wagon. That's a pretty unique deal and exciting, and I think it lends to doing. We were headed out to the Pumpkin Fest about a month ago, the beginning part of October, and I got this whole I want to be a doer thing in my mind. And as I drive past Old Man, I think it's Holmgren's, I think it's Richie Holmgren's field, and as we went past Old Man Holmgren's field, I was like, hey boys, you know what would be really weird? And you have to know something. We had just watched Children of the Corn before we got in the car to run out there. And I'd been telling spooky stories all night. I'd been anticipating this challenge that I threw at the boys. I got a 13-year-old and a 15-year-old, and they get out quite a bit. But compared to me, when I was that age, they don't get out much. So we were going past Old Man Holmgren's field after we watched Children of the Corn, and I'm like, hey boys, you know where the real action is? Cornfields. Cornfields. I dare you. I bet you don't have the guts to do it. Ain't no way either of you two have got the guts, you city boys, got the guts to go out and run through a cornfield. I know you won't do it. No way. They're both looking at me. They're at that age now. They're both looking at me like, think you're talking to, old man? Of course we got the guts to do it. I'm like, ain't no way you got the guts to do it. It's the middle of the day, and it was pretty easy for both of those guys to be like, I'll do that. I'm like, if I dropped you off on the east side of Old Man Holmgren's field, he's not really an old man, but I call him old man because it seems to really lend itself to the spooky factor. If I drop you guys off on at the east end of Old Man Holmgren's field, drove the truck half a mile, it's a very long field, down to the other end, I'll bet you guys wouldn't run through that cornfield. Middle of the night, no moon. Both of these guys are like, ah, hell yeah, I will. I'm like, hell no, you won't. I know you won't. They're like, oh yeah. We'll do this all day long, Dad. Bored. Won't even think about it. Probably stop in the middle, paint our nails or whatever. I don't know what kids do these days. So I'm like, all right. We get to Pumpkin Fest, and I start ribbing them. Bet you guys won't do that thing. Oh yeah, we'll do that thing. We talk about it all day. All day. You know, we're out picking pumpkins, or Mom's got a huge feast. Huge feast. It starts getting a little darker and a little darker, and their eyes start getting a little wider and a little wider. They aren't so sure now that it's about 6:30, 7 o'clock. Not so sure about this whole pumpkin thing. They're both riding pretty high though. I keep ribbing them about it. All night long we're talking about, I kind of put this in there, all night long, we're talking about all the bad shit that's ever gone down on the farm. All the skunks, all the wild pigs that will eat you. You know wild pigs will eat you. They're vicious. We had a guy that was killed in the canal. We found his body one time out there. They never identified him. Slash marks all over him. Right outside our house. It was evil. It was terrible. Pretty sure it had something to do with the mafia. Who knows where that killer is? They even thought it might be some serial killer that lives in the area. We don't know. Anyway, no big deal. You guys want to carve pumpkins? All night long, these stories keep coming. And my brothers, they're amazing. They'll just chime right in. We got into things like chupacabras. Nobody knows what a chupacabra is, but it sounds just compelling. So we're talking about the chupacabras that live out there. I swear to you, at 11 or 12 years old, I saw a Bigfoot, saw him. He stayed just outside of the lights while I was baling hay one night. It happened. I heard him, I smelled him, I saw him. His eyes looked deep into my soul. I know he was there. These stories are coming up all night. All night. 8 o'clock comes around. It's darker than hell. Hey boys, we going through that cornfield? Yeah. Yeah. Sounds fun. They were a lot better at it than that. They were still pretty brave. And in the meantime, they had talked their cousins into doing it. Well, to be more specific, they had talked their cousins into it, and then one of them decided he was doing it. So I load him up in the Suburban, and we head him down the road. On the way down the road, I'm telling him all the stories I know. Snipes, Bigfoots, chupacabras, dead guys, serial killers, wild pigs. For sure, there's going to be a pheasant jump up in the middle. You're still spook it. Try not to let it hit you. Some owls are going to swerve at you. These are city boys. They never been out in the field in the middle of the night. Ever. And it's spooky in a cornfield. I don't care what you say. It's spooky out there. This isn't a corn maze where there's lights set up and everything's safe. Hell no. This is the wild, wild west. And they were pretty freaked out. In any case, that's the deal. We're talking to them all about it. And then I did this one thing. I started up the car, and as I started it up, I kind of gunned it a little bit, and it hesitated, the Suburban. I'm like, oh, well, that was weird. Cole's like, what? Oh, nothing. Dad, what? That's probably nothing. Don't worry about it. Chupacabras, they're not out this time of year. They're usually asleep by now anyway. We're driving down the road, pull into the old gravel road, and we follow this big old corn. Is that the cornfield? Yeah, that's the cornfield right there. Well, that's long. It's really tall. That isn't like the other night in that corn maze. Yeah, this is real corn. There's real shit that goes on out there. You guys still in? Oh yeah, we're in. So now I got two 13-year-olds and a 15-year-old. We get down to the end of the field. I kick them out of the truck. I'm like, let's go. I go, wait, hold on, just in case. I pulled out into the cornfield. I go rooting around in there. I come running out. I'm all out of breath. All right, I think you guys are okay. Pretty sure you guys are okay. These guys are freaking out. I'm pushing them out. I'm all right. I'll drive down to the end. And they're like, give me your phones. They're like, what? Yeah, give me your phones. You're not going out there with your phones. You got lights on your phones. You can see. This is mano a mano. You're going against the dark. Well, that wasn't part of the deal. What do you mean it wasn't part of the deal? Of course it was part of the deal. What kind of person goes out in the middle of a cornfield with a phone? That's silly. You could call for help and everything. That's dumb. They're like, and so they reluctantly hand me over their phones. Now they're phoneless. Now they're lightless. And they are way out of their element. And I am eating this up. And poor cute little Lindsay, she's sitting over there just giggling. Kick him out of the truck, push him out the door. One of the cousins, Timothy, is like, I'm in. Let's get this shit done. And both of my boys now went from being a real big talker to, hey, it's getting pretty late. We probably better get home. I got homework, and I'm like, no. It's gonna take us 15 minutes to run that half mile. You'll be fine. We got plenty of time. But they're thinking of any excuse they can. Pretty soon it becomes obvious they ain't going. Hey, Dad, I got a really, really bad feeling about this. I got a really bad feeling. I'm like, look, get your ass into that cornfield and huck it and haul it across that field. I just don't think it's okay. We probably better not. I'm like, well, listen, I was kind of kidding about, I guess I wasn't kidding about chupacabras. I've seen one, they're vicious. But I don't think they're out this time of year. Only thing you really got to worry about, and this was new, the farmer. Old Man Holmgren will shoot you. I ain't shitting you. He will not let you in that field. He finds us out there. In fact, turn the lights off. We better not even be seen out here. This is dangerous. The most dangerous thing ain't the pigs, and they'll kill you. It's Old Man Holmgren. Richie's the nicest guy. If they knew him, they would have laughed about it. But you have to say it. Anyway, I coax him out. I get him to almost get across. They won't do it. I'm like, fine. Put the thing in park. I run in. I'm like, Lindsay, meet us at the other side. We're going in. And I grab him. I'm like, get in behind. Let's go. And I take off down through the corn. These boys are all in a panic. Didn't even have time to say no yet. And they jump in behind. And to their credit, they were troopers. They were ready to fight chupacabras. What in the hell is a chupacabra? Nobody knows. Bigfoot. I saw him. We're running out through there. We get about, 50 steps in at full speed, and there's like this little cornless place. And I'm like, whoa, hold on. Shh. Don't move. Oh my God. Did you guys hear that? Oh, this is a bad sign, guys. We should have never came here. Oh no. And they're all, what? What happened? What? I'm like, shh. Don't say any words. It's too late. We gotta go. We just bolt. And it's muddy out in this field, and it rained all week. It was muddy, and they're in their dress shoes, which was one of the excuses they tried to use. And they're like, good hell. And we are flat out now. We got our hands up because corn is like, it grows together. It isn't like you see in these places, in these corn mazes. It grows together, and you got to put your hands up, and it's jagged on the ends. It'll cut you. We had long shirts on, and we pulled our hoods down over our heads, running through it. And the next day, if you saw me, I had slashes on my face, and that's why. And the worst part is it's spooky. It looks like hands. It looks like creepy dudes standing there holding hands like, you shall not pass. Like, it's spooky. And these guys are running through it, and you can't hear anything because it's all crackle. I'm like, just keep your ears peeled. If there's a skunk, or if there's anything, just run. They stopped me. We got stopped out in the middle, and they're like, what do we do if Old Man Holmgren sees us? I'm like, we're running from him. We're gonna run flat out. You see that light post down that way? Run toward that. And they're just like, oh my hell. Anyway, middle of this field, we're running flat out, and I am so happy that I could hang with these little 13 and 15-year-old boys. I've always dreamt of having the kind of fitness that would let me do stuff like this, and I'm glad that almost at 50 I could do it. And that's kind of the point of the story. But I'm out there running through the field, and I think, man, this will be funny. So I split off and I jump about 7 or 8 rows to the right. They can't see me, and those boys didn't even try to follow. They're just bolting down this line in this corner row. I'm like, well, this is funny. So I go out there, and I'm gonna go mess with them. I stop. I can barely hear them. I'm like, oh shit, I've gone too far. I go out and around the back of them, and I start running up behind them. Now, they can't hear me. They're going too fast, and the corn's making too much sound. So I'm like, this is funny. And I went sprinting up, and Timothy, the nephew, my nephew, their cousin, was first in line, and I just attacked him. Ah! Screamed. Oh, he screamed. All three of those boys literally shit their pants, and that was hilarious. That was the best part of the night. Of course, we stop every so often to listen for chupacabras and Bigfoot. And we ran and ran and ran. Lindsay went running by, and there was some drama with that. It was hilarious, because we're like, it's the farmer, get down! He's got a gun! It's amazing the things we went through in the silly 12 to 15 minutes that it took us to clear this field. And when we got down to the end of the field, man, we tried to scare Lindsay. It didn't work. She was too smart. And to Lindsay's credit, she wanted to be in that cornfield. I felt so bad. She has the worst FOMO of any human I've ever known. She wanted to be out there with us. At the end of that field, those boys walked out of there like conquering heroes, as if they had just won the world or won the internet. And I think Matt said it best tonight. Matt goes, I was telling Matt the story, and Matt goes, there is no screen experience that will match that story, that'll match that experience. There's nothing they can do right here or right here that'll feel the same ever, ever, ever. No Fortnite win will ever feel like those boys felt as they came out with muddy boots and scratched faces and cold. Oh, it was cold that night. There's no screen experience that'll match that experience with Dad. And I had to relate that, because as the dad and as a guy that works out, and that's the reason I do it, I was pretty happy about being able to share that experience with my boys. So that was my happiest thing that I did, or my funnest thing. One of them. We did a lot of cool stuff in October, but that was one of my funnest ones. And I thought I'd share it with you. What'd you do? What'd you do for activity this October? You get out and do anything? I'd love to hear the story. Share it with me right here, or just type it in too. I'd love to hear it.